access to free information. So it's just like the news might be kicking some dumb shit, but I just read this and that don't, coincide. So I'm gonna go with what feels right and what, is real, as opposed to being like force-fed information. So, but yeah, I think we gotta take care of home first.
Now, music is something that is universal.
Yeah.
Do you believe that music in general has the ability to bring people together? And is this something that you aim to do in your music, or will do in your music in the future?
Yeah, 100%. There's a Prisoner 1 and 2 on Lupe's Tetsuo and Youth album. There's like a clip, I don't know where it comes from, but it's like music is the king of all professions. And I'm like a firm believer of that. Like, I remember going to the Drake show when it was at Wells Fargo. It was sold out, and it was like, I remember running into my friends that were doctors, realtors, lawyers, all these things, and it's like music's the only thing that can bring all those people together. You can do like a holiday party or some dumb shit like that, but there's still music playing. So it's like, that's why I chose music, or maybe it chose me, however corny way you want to look at it, but like that's why I continue to use it as my like tool, because it's like, you can't deny good music. You can't, there's just nothing you can do about it. When it hits, it hits. And so it makes somebody feel a certain way, and that's different than any other thing that exists in this world. I think movies, art in general, but I think music is like a very, very powerful tool, so.
So speaking about good music,
Yeah.
earlier on you were influenced by some of the St. Louis sound and Murphy Lee.
Yeah.
Listening to Murphy's Law album.
Yeah.
So who are some of the people that you looked up to growing up, and made you feel confident in being an African-American male?
Nas, Lupe Fiasco. Honestly, once I started getting to college, Wale, Drake, Childish Gambino, J. Cole. I didn't get more into Jay-Z until I was thinking about college. Jay-Z definitely. Erykah Badu, India Arie. Who else? Charlie Wilson. He's still around making music, and he made music when my dad was like my age. So that's impressive to see decades like that. Yeah, I think like taking music and Master P, taking music and like, okay, you did that. That's cool. Obviously, that's what we want to be done. But then building with that is like the coolest shit in the world to me. So the fact that like Jay-Z and Beyonce together collectively like are worth $1 billion, in a society where like their lineage comes from slaves, like that's like that's a stain you can't wipe off. That's like, yeah, like that's very cool to me. So yeah, I think that hip hop in general, like, and when it comes to black intellectuals, there's a lot of smart, very intelligent, like beautiful beings within the hip hop world. And so I think I'm inspired by a lot of them. It would take me forever to probably, I could go down my Apple library and tell you like, this is how they influenced me and this is how they did that. But just black excellence is like what hip hop just showed me in my entire life growing up. So.
Of those people that you did just state, I noticed that you stated a few women, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's
Mary J. Blige too. Sorry. Yeah, for sure.
Mary J.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like just relationships in our day and age in our society are underrated, and people
Yeah.
don't want to be in relationships or get married and things like that. I guess with that being said, what do you think about, I guess, relationships in general and interracial relationships?
Fuck, that's a tough question, man. I just made an album about this. I think it's odd, right? Like, I can only speak on what I know, right? So I'm going off of my perspective, and I'm a very detail-oriented, like perfectionist is never going to be good enough kind of person. And bringing those qualities and traits over into a relationship is extremely dangerous. It's not smart, it's toxic, it's not healthy. And so it took me a while to recognize that. It took me separating from my best friend to understand that, So luckily she saved us, if that makes sense, before like we hated each other and things, and it grew out of proportion. But the way my mind's set up is I'm very possessive and obsessive. And this dream that I have is like my possession. And so that's what the fuck I'm focused on from the time I wake up to the time I go to bed. You know, I get distracted just like everybody else, but that's like the main thing. And I tried to juggle them all, you know, the relationships, the shows, the music, the friendships, and then like sooner or later I was going to drop them all, and so I chose one, and that was my career. And that's not to downplay everything that I learned in that relationship, because I think it made me, significantly made me who I am today, as I sit here and speak. But I think you make a decision, I think, and I don't think a lot of people are ready to do that. I think that you have to decide, like, this is really what you want. Because it takes work, right? Like, a dream is a work within itself, but relationships is a fuck ton of work. There's a lot of undercoded messages. There's a lot of expectations that don't come along in the bylaws and all that stuff when you sign up. And for somebody to want to come into my life, they're going to have to know exactly who they are. They're going to have to know what they bring to the table and what their dream is, because it's like, I don't want to be responsible for holding somebody's happiness in my hands. That's dangerous. You know what I mean? If that's all I can bring you is like, you feel good when you're with me, like, that's cool. Like, I respect that, but like, so do drugs. You know what I mean? And that's how people get addicted. And so it's like, that's not good. If we can make each other better and we can really grow, then like, I'm all for that. But the possessive, like, I need you, you need me, and I'm nothing without you, like, that's like, keep that shit far away from me. But I think that overall, I still, you know, the woman that I love, I still talk to probably 5 days out of the week. So I can't act like her in my life isn't like an important thing. I just know, like, I'm not no good for it right now. So I'm gonna go get everything that I think I'm supposed to obtain and have, and then like, maybe we can try and make it work, but I'm also not gonna ask her to sit around and wait for me, because that's also toxic and not smart. So I think they're necessary, but I think you really gotta choose if that's what you want.
So being a product of an interracial relationship, you had a white mother and a black father, right?
Yep.
So being a product of that, what type of views do you have or have you experienced in the world, and how might that differ from, I guess, me or somebody else from a different race?
Yeah, just this limbo, you know, where it's like just identity crisis. I think growing up, I think a lot of biracial kids deal with it, where it's like, I wrote in that No Favorite song, when you're too dark for the whites and not black enough for your race. And so it's like, I just remember growing up, like, I remember specifically being in middle school and this kid was like, but you ain't black though. And I was like, sick. You know? Like, at that age, you're like, well, I don't know what the fuck that means, but like, that sits with you. And so you're like, okay, well, I know for sure I don't look like them, you know what I mean? Or her or him. And so you're just kind of trying to figure out where you belong. But also in regards to, like, I think male psyche is kind of like naturally attracted to like somebody that whatever biologically like resembles their mother, right? So if I was to date a white woman, that got like frowned upon sometimes, right? Or like to some people in our own race, like that's like, you know, you shouldn't do that, don't do that. But I also experienced that from the back end. Is like, I remember I got hit from two of my, you know, you don't have girlfriends, I guess, in high school, college and shit, but I remember being hid from like the dad until it was like, oh, okay, like it's serious enough that we can bring you around and I think that you're okay. But like at the time, I'm like, that's fucked up now that I think about it. But at the time, I was just like, you know, you young and in love, and you like, whatever, man, like, cool, do whatever we gotta do. That don't matter to me. That shit don't matter. But looking back, I'm like, damn, that did take a toll, like, on my confidence, because then you just question yourself, like, well, I ain't good enough, or what did I do to, you know, I didn't ask to be interracial or any of these things. So I'm like, I am who I am, and that's all I can essentially provide you. So, but.
All right, so we're coming around to the end here. I only got a few more questions for you.
Yes, sir.
First, I just want to know what's your opinion on, or your general opinion on police brutality.
Damn, that's deep. I think it's inappropriate to say fuck them. Again, back to kind of what I had touched on, like, this wasn't created for us, including the police, you know. There's documentation of the CIA, FBI, police, whatever, the military being extremely racist. And so it's shitty to say as a black man that I'm never like surprised, you know, like we've almost become like numb to the, like we just like expect it. That's fucked up, that's weird training. you know, so obviously it's wrong. Like and I think if you were an alien and you came down and looked, you'd be like, that's kind of fucked up, you know. Like this, it's more of like a human just recognizing this isn't right kind of thing. Not I don't know if it's much bigger than that. Like, but
Do you
again,
think there's an issue with the police training? Or
yeah,
do you
absolutely.
think they should go through more training in order to,
I just think it should be a more sought after job. You know what I'm saying? Like, people work their ass off to become a doctor or a lawyer because you get paid a lot, right? But the credentials to become that weed out those that aren't ready for that. You know, it take a lot to go to 10 years worth of school, and I'm not asking for that to happen, but like, come on, man. Like, if you can just walk off the side of the road and get through a 6-week program, like, and then you can just hold a piece on you, like, anybody that's held a gun knows how that makes you feel. You know what I'm saying? And you put that along with some racism, you put that along with some mental instability, you put that along with some prejudice, like, yeah, that's how this all happens. And so, like, I just think there psychologically can be better evaluations. I think there can be training. I think we can pay them better, probably. I don't know enough about the money aspect of it. And I think police need to police their fucking neighborhoods. A lot of the Des Moines police officers live in Ankeny, Waukee, and West Des Moines. What the fuck they know about being on the north side? What do you know about the community? You don't even know the people that are like consistently around here outside of the fact that you work here. But that doesn't make you any more attached to your job than the person that work at Principal and then drive home to Ankeny. You don't care about the city. So it's like, I don't know. That's just a deep question because the whole infrastructure needs like fixing, you know? So, yeah. But to answer your question, it's fucked up and it needs some work.
well, again, thank you for being here. We appreciate your time.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
We appreciate you coming through, and hopefully we'll get to do more work with you in the future.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all.